Hello and welcome to week 3 of AC1110 Accounting Fundamentals. Remember that the contact information is up top with the name, email address, and phone number. Best way to contact is usually by email, asking for a couple times that we can then meet by phone and or screen share software. Going to scroll down the current week we are in, week 3. We have the familiar layout with the objectives, the topics, and the lessons. We will be covering the new information being Chapter 3. Chapter 3 will be covering the adjusting journal entry process. So Chapters 1 and 2 covered the main things that we do within the accounting department, meaning the normal transactions. Chapter 1 entering those transactions in accordance with the accounting equation. Chapter 2 entering those transactions in accordance with debits and credits. Chapter 3 is going to be the closing process or the adjusting entry process, which is something we do at the end of the time period in order to make sure the financial statements are correct on an accrual basis. Chapter 3 is a very good chapter in order for us to better understand what the accrual concepts are, because the adjusting entries are related to timing differences. They're related to making sure the financial statements are reporting revenue and expenses in the proper period. We have the resources down below. We've got these links you can go to here. If you select this item, you'll go to a playlist which will have accounting information. If you wanted to go to this playlist directly, you could copy the URL and therefore watch it without having to go through the portal and Moodle Rooms to get there. We also have these items which are going to be on SoundCloud, and these are going to be audio only if you wanted to listen to these while you're doing chores or something like that. These are also available if you go to iTunes and go to the podcast for iTunes. You should be able to find these. So if you want to put it on the phone, so when you're driving or walking, you can do that as well. And Stitcher is going to be the software Stitcher for other types of, if it's not an iPhone, if you have some other type of phone, then you can find the podcast there and do the same type of thing. We're going to be focusing here on these items, the adjusting entries and the financial statements, but anything up to this point is worth reviewing. These are the fundamentals. These are the things that are worth reviewing every time we practice. It's good to look at these topics. So we're going to go back here. We're going to say from the discussion forums on down, that's what we need to get done. Remember that the discussion forums are worth 21% of the grade. Our goal, our objective, the format that we should be approaching these classes is to get full credit on that 21% and therefore make those discussion forum points bring up any other problems we have elsewhere, such as quizzes, which we have less control over. In order to get full credit on the discussion forums, we need at least 4 posts. I would recommend posting more than 4 times because the grade does accumulate upwards. More posts can generally add more points and don't typically take points away. However, a post could be posted that doesn't earn any points, and the way to earn points on the post is to add more accounting content to the discussion. If we copy and paste anything from Moodle Rooms or from anywhere, Google or any other area, make sure that we are then referencing it so that we're not plagiarizing. And really, to pick up points on it, we need to paraphrase it, put it in our own words, critique it, ask questions about it in order to pick up points when we respond to other individuals within the course. If we compliment the post of someone else, that's great. It's not really going to add a lot of points, though, unless we add more content that's accounting related to the discussion. Then we have the assignments, the homework quizzes. Most of that will be done up here in McGraw-Hill Connect, but although most of it will be done up here in McGraw-Hill Connect, it will not all be listed up here in McGraw-Hill Connect, and although most of it will not be done down here in Moodle Rooms, it is all listed down here. This is your check sheet. This is where you want to go back no matter where you do the work and check off that it has been done. The final gradebook is linked to this list, not to this list. So make sure to go back here. For example, this second Moodle Rooms problem is something that will not be up here in McGraw-Hill Connect, something that we have to click on here, download the worksheet, work the worksheet, upload it back here to Moodle Rooms in order to complete it. There's one each week, so if you missed the one last week, you might want to go back and see if you can pick up the late work on that. Although everything is done by Sunday, the midterm we have a lot less ability to make up late work. Therefore, you really want to take the midterm by the end of the week. So even if you're not feeling like you're totally comfortable, if you've got through all the work, do not get a 0 on the midterm. It's worth the most points in the course so far. And we have a lot less leeway to do a makeup work. Therefore, if you run into a time constraint, take the midterm. A 10% is better than a 0% on the midterm. If you have to go back and pick up late work on the assignments and homework, we do typically have more leeway in order to do that, although we will lose points in accordance with charter college policy. If we scroll up to the gradebook up top, remember that everything is going to be due by Sunday. I have until Wednesday following the close of each week in order to populate the gradebook for what has been done up through that week. I try to get that done Tuesday around noon. Therefore, Tuesday around noon, you should go into the gradebook, double check that it has been populated in accordance with what you know it should be, because you should be getting grades and feedback through mainly the McGraw-Hill Connect, and knowing what you have done and not done by checking it off here in your list in Moodle Rooms. And then we want to check the gradebooks and just make sure it's populated in accordance with what you believe it should be. If it's not, let me know. And that also includes any late work. So any work done in the current week, for example, week 2 work, I'm going to grade by Tuesday following week 2, and that includes any late work for week 1 that was done in week 2, and week 2 work. Anything completed in week 2 should be updated, the grades for it, by Tuesday following the close of week 2, and then you can go in there and ask me any questions. If anything changes from a dash to a 0, that's an indication that it has been graded and has not been done. Those things you want to go in and say, hey, can I pick up the late work, and see if you can pick up the late work. That's going to be it, so have a great week 3.